Today we are going to do a reteach over the Tompkins strategy and we are going to participate in a gallery walk. So first thing we're going to start out by doing is, can anyone recite the genre of the book Young George Washington that we read yesterday?
Bibliography.
Good job. And we know that it's a bibliography. How? Travis?
Because it's about George Washington.
Right, so we know it's a bibliography because it's about a person's life. Good job. So, can anyone tell me any more facts or details that they remember from the book yesterday?
He started the Revolutionary War.
Correct. So George Washington was one of the starters of the Revolutionary War. Does anyone know who the Revolutionary War was against?
Us in Great Britain.
Good job. Are there any other details that we can remember?
He was the first president.
The first president of what?
The United States.
The United States, correct. Okay, so can either of you apply any previous knowledge that you have and inform the other one about George Washington? So it's kind of the same question, just if we have any more details we want to add.
His wife was Martha.
Martha Washington, good job.
He was born in Virginia.
Virginia, do you remember the year he was born?
February 22nd, 1732.
Wow, good job. You must have that on your history board.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is we are going to go back over the vocab words that we had on our Kahoot. So if you could get out your phones or laptops and just go to www.kahoot.com. And then I'll get my phone and we'll do the pin.
This is the place. Mine is blue.
So just go to play. Okay, and pin. Okay, you can enter a nickname if you like. Okay. Is it working?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we have those 5 vocab words that we went over yesterday that we can take the short little quiz over again. I don't know. Sorry. Just let me know when you've finished.
I'm done.
Okay.
Mine's loading. All done.
Great job, guys. What normally if you're in a large group, you probably wouldn't discuss our scores, but did everyone do pretty good on that?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay. So after completing the Kahoot, what is another way we could test our vocab skills?
Spelling test.
A spelling test. What's another?
Practicing.
Practice. We could just practice more. Maybe use flashcards or something like that. Okay. So I have 2 items here that we talked about yesterday. Fluff this bad boy up. This first one, does anybody remember what this first one is?
A wig.
A wig. And I decided to use this wig. Do we know why? What does it
looks
represent?
like George Washington's hair.
Right. So back when George Washington, in his era, men wore wigs. Even today, some men still wear wigs, but we call them toupees. So men wore wigs, and the wigs showed their hierarchy. And so a man with like a full wig was like more rich and powerful, and a man who didn't wear a wig wasn't really important. Maybe like a farmer or took care of animals or things like that. And another thing from the book that we have is
Peace pipe.
a pipe. And so back in George Washington's time, they didn't have cigarettes, so men would smoke pipes. They would put the tobacco in here, just kind of like a cigarette, and that's what they would do. So, now we need to get all our history boards that we made yesterday. And we need to remember from the checklist some of the requirements that we had. They were that we had a theme, that we had a person and the title or the name of the person that we put on there, or the object that we put on there, that we had a date, and probably 3 main ideas or details. So if you guys would like to take a little bit of time and fill out some more of your history boards, you can do that now. What are you drawing there, Sierra?
Apples, trees.
Okay, and do you have, what are the apples? Why do you have the apples?
Because he cut down the apple tree.
Okay, good job. What about you, Travis? What's something you have?
I'm just writing some facts on there that we
Okay,
talked about earlier.
about George.
Yep, about George.
Okay, good job. Pretty good job. Keep going. And you might even be able to draw, I don't know how good of artist you are, but it doesn't have to be the best artwork. A wig, since we talked about the wig, but you already have his hair on there. Maybe a little pipe. You have the trees. Another good fact, if you remember, would be about the war, what the war was called that he started and who it was against. You could also put just a picture of the book on there, since we learned about the book Young George Washington. Okay, so if both of you are at a stopping point, I'll have you share one thing that we haven't really talked about yet that you put on your history board. Or if we've talked about everything, just share your favorite item.
My favorite item is the apples in the tree.
Okay. Travis, what about you?
His term was from 1789 to 1797.
As president?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very good information. So the next thing we are going to do is complete a gallery walk, and that's just a reteach method that we are going to go over. So I'll just kind of explain the details and how we're going to do it, and then we can go ahead and do that. So if we had a bigger group of us, we would find somewhere around the classroom and hang up our history board. And then what we do, which we can still do that, we can place it somewhere around the room. And then what we will do is each of you will take a sticky note and you will write 1 or 2 things. Don't do it yet, because I'll tell you when to go. But 1 or 2 things about the other person's history board that you liked, or that you thought they drew really good, or that you thought was an important detail. And then once we're finished with that, we'll come back and sit down and we can share what the other person put. So, I guess you can just trade since we're just right here. But normally, if there was a lot of us, we'd post them all around the wall and you'd walk around and find somebody's to comment on. And also, if we had more time, we could color these with colored pencils or markers or crayons, things like that. While you're waiting, can anyone tell me another way that we could evaluate the information we've learned? So the way we've evaluated our information so far is we did a history board and we put all the information on there that we know or that we've learned. Does anyone have any suggestions of a different way we could do it?
Flashcards.
We could do flashcards. We could do like an assessment, a short, just quick, easy assessment. We could do maybe like a test. We could do maybe like partner group work, where partners might ask you a question and then the other partner would try and answer it. So let's go ahead and share what we wrote about our partners.
I liked your wig and your peace pipe.
Your information was very detailed, and your drawing of George Washington was beautiful.
Oh, that's very nice. Those are good comments. So, can anyone recall any new information that they learned today?
He was born February 22nd, 1732.
Okay, and that's information that you didn't know before?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sierra?
He married Martha Washington.
Yes. And so I don't know if we mentioned Martha in the book, I think just briefly, but that's good information. So, if we had more time to do other things, we could do another Tompkins strategy and we could do the author's chair. And that's just kind of where, since you created your history board, you would be the author and you would sit in a specialized chair that I had. And you would just, the class would ask questions and you could just kind of explain what you did and things like that. So that would be another reteach. If we had time to complete something like that, we could do that. So I'm just going to recap what we did today. So we went over the book that we read yesterday. We went over different things that were in the book, George Washington's wig, and we learned about the pipe. We worked a little bit more on our history board and completed some more information that we learned on that. And then we also did a modified gallery walk for just 2 of you participating. Anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you.